Alright, I'm gonna quit now. What Dawkins song was I like avoiding copyright with right there? It was very close, but I think I did it. I think I dodged copyright. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another one of these guitar hacks videos. You guys have been digging them, and I've been posting polls now on the community section. You're voting on them. So who's next? So this week we're talking about George Lynch. So the guitar hack videos are not meant to be this big, deep dive into a player's style. It's all about taking one simple idea, showing it in the context that they use it, and then trying to make something that, sounds like your own thing with it. It's something that doesn't really sound like them anymore. So that's what we're gonna do. I have it all tabbed out down below. You'll get tabs in the video as well. And just a heads up, this Saturday, I'm gonna release a video that is probably gonna be the coolest thing I'll ever do on this channel. So stay tuned. You'll see some teaser posts here coming very soon. So let's get in with it. So the George Lynch hack. So any of these videos I do, it's always the first idea that comes to my mind, and there were two big things I thought of with George that I always just kind of thought were really like unique to him. And one thing is this trill idea that he does. He'll do it a lot all over the place. I didn't want to do that one because that one just sounds like George and Randy. Those two are similar in a lot of ways. So the next one was the way he slides instead of doing hammer-ons and pull-offs. And he does this in a bunch in the Into the Fire solo. That little slide thing, man, it's so cool. Sorry, apologies to George, I'm butchering that solo, but a little trill section throws me off. But I thought it was so cool, and I was like, well, how could I do this? And I realized, like, oh, that's who I got it from. I do that little slide thing all the time. I'm like, oh, it came from George, of course. Like, how did I not recognize that right away? So I'm going to show you that lick from Into the Fire, and then I want to show you two different ways. One that you can like start incorporating this right away into your pentatonic scale, and then one is actually in a major way, which in my opinion doesn't sound like Lynch anymore. So here we go. So the first little bit here is this one. And one thing you have to really acknowledge with Lynch is how much he utilizes his flat five. He's very much rooted in blues with his playing. So we're gonna go 15, slide up to 16 on the B, back down to 15, and then pull off to 13. So this is what I'm talking about. Okay? Now I go back to 15, and that's where you hold that note out. Now the next part is almost mirroring it, but instead of holding that 15 out, you do an extra pull off. So you go 15, up to 16, back down, pull off, 15 again, pull off to 13, and he resolves it to his root note. Now, like I was saying before, Lynch hunts that flat five a bunch. What are we playing here? Ah, there it is, flat five. He's using it right there. So. It's basically that lick, like a pentatonic blues lick. But where a lot of blues guys they do that slide thing, but they might bend it. Lynch is always sliding around a lot on the guitar, and he has this very just diagonal and horizontal style of playing. He's not the most vertical player, which I love that about him. He's always moving around. So that's the simple idea of the hack there. Now let's go ahead and show you how you can start incorporating it and kind of doing your own thing with it, and then show you a lick that just loses the Lynch sound altogether, in my opinion. Okay, so let's hone in on the idea. The idea is you have a note, which is the in-key note or the note that you want it to resolve to, and then you're sliding up or down. It doesn't matter which way you go, as long as you're landing back kind of at home base. So, when Lynch is doing this, obviously, this note right here, which is his D note, that's what he's, focusing on. This is almost a passing tone, that blues note there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pentatonic scale and we're gonna go, sliding into notes that are not in our pentatonic scale, but the basis of the lick is all pentatonic. So what I'm talking about is this. I'm gonna go, because I had kind of go, it's a good way to start incorporating it. You know, I'm not saying this is gonna wow all your buddies, but you know, it gets the idea across. So I'm going from 15, and I'm thinking box 1 out of my E minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so I'm gonna go 15, and I slide up to 16, and I slide back down to 15. And I pull off the 12. Just get that down. That's a good one right there just to focus on. And let me, I forgot I had my delay turned on. Sorry about that. I will turn the delay off. Okay, so. Okay, we got that much. Now, what I do is I switch strings. I go to the B string, again, think box 1 E minor pentatonic, and I do the same exact thing. 15 up to 16. Slide back down to 15 and pull off the 12. Now this is the same you. That's with hammer-ons and pull-off, but the slide has a different sound to it. You know, there's this like kind of like unstableness to it that kind of gives it just a little more on the edge sound, I guess. Okay, and then the next one here is basically going straight into our blues scale, and I'm going to go 14 on the G, up to 15, flat 5. Back down to 14 and pull off the 12. And I resolve it to 14 on the D. You know, lots of ways you could get through that. Like you could do bend. But sliding has a different vibe and sound. The final lick. Okay, now like I said, that one to me loses all the Lynch vibe to it, but that little slide, I'm stealing it from Lynch. What I did is I incorporated it in kind of like, you know, I view it as being a dominant pentatonic scale because I'm utilizing my major third now out of my, you know, minor pentatonic instead of my minor third. Okay, so it gives you this kind of like Warren D. Martini vibe, which again, Warren is very similar to Lynch. So we kind of like are bridging that gap between Warren and Lynch now. So what I'm doing here is, like I said, I'm thinking of this kind of like a hybrid, you know, dominant pentatonic. I go 15, pull off the 12 on the B. Go to 14 on the G. Right now it's like a normal blues lick. I go back to 12 on the B and I hammer on to 15. To 12 on the high string. Now here's where the Lynch idea is super crucial because I don't really know how else you would do this unless you want to do a bend. I'm going to go to 16 with my pinky, which is my major third, slide up to 17, back down to 16. So, and I pull off to 12. Now, I don't know of another way that you could do this other than bending. Like you couldn't do a hammer-ons pull-off here. That shift seems so, you know, unnecessary when you could do this little slide. Okay? Now I go back to the B, 15 pull off 12 again, and here we're going to add a little bit extra of that, sorry my words are getting all tied together, a little bit extra major sound to it by going to the G, and you're going to go 14, pull off to 13, hammer back on to 14, and then 12 on the B. So, okay, so. And that's the full lick. You know, and maybe it still has a little bit of that Lynch, you know, Lynchiness to it. I mean, he doesn't do a lot of major stuff as much as he does minor, but to me, it was kind of verging more on that Warren sound. Yeah, I guess there's other things. I played the wrong note and it kind of worked. So there's that one. Like I said, with that one, again, the slide is crucial. You can slide it. I use this all over there. You know, when every time I dive into one of these hack videos, I realize how much I'm utilizing these little things in my playing. I was like, you know what? What's that lick that I do? Right there. That little slide. That's George Lynch. Greg Howe did that too. Richie Kotzen kind of does that. But I really think, for me personally, it all came from George. And that's it, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you would, subscribe, like the video. You can download the tabs if you want to, if the ones in the video weren't jiving with you. And I'm going to bounce on out of here. So like I said before, Saturday, something really, really big. I cannot wait to show you guys. If you're following me on Instagram or the community page, I'll be posting some teaser pictures. Actually, probably saw them yesterday. So it's going to be awesome, though. Like I said, coolest thing I think that we've ever done on the channel. So I'll see you all later. Bye, guys. Woo!